Okay, this is the official beginning. We've already been beginning beginning to troubleshoot, but welcome to the Gale Conference Peru 2024 Pre-Expedition Workshop. My name is Cherie Barton, and I am a certified National Geographic educator, and I am also one of the education leads for the 2024 Gale Conference. We're so excited to have you joining us this morning, and we want to thank you all for posting your introductions and I love the energy that's starting to happen in the forum, in the introduction section, and in the pre-expedition areas. We're getting comments and uploads of artwork and images of microorganisms and insects all over the place. So keep going back to that forum and adding to it. And if you haven't already been there, please go, whether you are an adult leader or a student participant, please go and join the forum so you can get to know everyone. A few housekeeping items. Please mute your microphone while we're speaking. And if you have any amazing questions that you don't want to forget, please add them to the chat and we'll help make sure the explorers see these questions. We have about 15 minutes for our explorer to share a little bit with us, just whetting our taste buds for our experience when we go to the Amazon. And then we will have 15 minutes of Q&A. During the Q&A time, we encourage you to unmute and to talk to Gaby. Leanne.
Hi, everybody. My name is Leanna Brew, and I too am a Nat Geo educator and science teacher. I'm so excited today to introduce you to Gaby. During Gaby's first visit to the Madre de Dios, she heard a very, very loud call, and that intrigued her and called her into the forest where she found a rodent-sized animal emitting loud calls. And her curiosity about this animal, which was the bamboo rat, wanted her to learn more about wildlife later on in life. And she's been working in the realm of conservation biology for over 2 decades as a field biologist for Conservation International, for the Tropical Conservation at Duke University, as well as working for Rainforest Expeditions. She is currently the president of the board of directors for the Association of the National Botanical Gardens of Lima in Peru. And the communications and education coordinator for the Global Biodiversity Standard Hub. So she has so many cool stories and such a wealth of information about everything in regards to Peru. Gaby, take it away, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Cherie. For me, this is very, very special to come back to Tambopata, which was the first wild thing I encountered coming out of college. So it's been very inspiring to see the last couple of months just preparing to our encounter next July. Thank you, Leanne, for passing my slides. Sorry, I had a computer glitch here. So yes, next one, please. So just a little bit about my background. I am a biologist. I'm Peruvian. I am living now in Lima. I used to live in Madre de Dios area where you are going to visit in a couple of months. So neotropical mammals. Neo means new, tropical, the new tropics. So that's why how we call America, the Americas, right? Comparing to the old world. So I specialize in mammals. I work with Conservation International, as Leanne mentioned, and I went to do training in the border with Bolivia. So I learned not only from the scientists, but I learned from the park rangers and especially from the native community of Infierno that they have been living for hundreds of years along the Tambopata River Basin. So I learned about bats. I was into bats, putting mist nets every night and getting really cool species there. I learned about rodents, but then I jumped into the large mammals, doing census across the different type of habitats in the rainforest. So I start learning little by little all the tracks, all the smells, and get to know them really well. Then after that, I moved away a little bit for a couple of years. I was doing 5 years of research in Venezuela in a semi-deciduous forest. So it was not that tropical that I have known before, but just part of the year, all the trees will lose, some of the trees will lose all their leaves. So a semi-deciduous forest was holding this population of fragmented populations of different animals in these islands. And I was in charge of studying the howler monkeys. What was going on with these guys, isolated, running out of food, and kind of surviving. Right? So I spent there 5 years following howler monkeys and learning their survival strategies there in those islands. And this thing, learning what they were eating, changed my mind completely, because I was focused on bats, I was focused on rodents, mammals, and believe it or not, I was suffering of this plant blindness in this enormous forest. I was blind of the plants, and not until I get to follow the monkeys, looking with my binoculars what they were eating, collecting the fruits, collecting the samples for the herbarium. Then I start, okay, they are eating this, they like this, they sleep in this tree, all the things, and everything was based on the plants. So 5 years, after those 5 years, I moved to the US, and I was working in the North Carolina area, but then I moved to South Florida, and I started as a volunteer in the Botanic Garden. The rest is history. Then I spent 18 years of my life working in the Botanic Garden and different aspects. So the field biology that I was start changing and connecting, because for monkeys, I will spend 12 hours a day just following monkeys and not talking to anybody until I get back to camp, and then I will share with my colleagues. But then in the Botanic Garden scenario, I have to talk to people. I will see people, I will have students, I will have volunteers. So my communication skills develop in a tone that I start telling all these stories about the forest. So my path as a field biologist have changed over time. And now that I'm back in Peru, the first thing I did for a couple of years was going back to Puerto Maldonado area, to Madre de Dios, the Tambopata River, and then start learning all over again, many, many things. Now I'm finishing my master's degree in forest resources conservation here in Peru, here in Lima. Some of the publications are linked to that science. Teams, we work in teams. You cannot do field biology as one person. You connect with several scientists, and then you produce these scientific papers that will help conserve all the resources that we want for the future. The next one, please. So biodiversity, you are going to be in one of the major hotspots of biodiversity in the world. And that's right, that's about 20 of them, and that's it. And Tambopata represents that. And we talk about the species. My lenses is the macrobiology. So micro, like Rosa, you see through the microscope. Here, you use another tool. You use your binoculars to see all the ecosystems, right? And identifying the number of species. For example, this is a guide that I'm going to share, the field guide by Louise Emmons. She's a doctor working out from the Smithsonian Institution, and she created this guide for Central and South America. And it's amazing what she did, because all the information, even very, very detailed with bats and rodents and large mammals is there. So 6,400 species around the world. We're going to be in Tambopata, and in Peru only there's 573 species of mammals. 87 of them are unique to Peru. We call it endemic species, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that. And then from mammals, the most diverse are the rodents, and then the bats, and then we have the monkeys. We have about 42 species of primates here in Peru. And where we are, where we will be going, we're going to see how many species you will be encountering. Next, please. So the macrobiology lens, the primates, it has been my dream since I went through the pages of Nat Geo in that time in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, the work of Diane Fossey, the work of Jane Goodall, Virute Galdicas, with the large primates, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees. So I always, the Nat Geo magazine was my window to the world and the wild. And I always thought, okay, someday I'm going to be there. Someday I'm going to be in the wild. I'm going to get all these, get to know all these weird species for me that I come from the city to the forest. So I'm really excited to go back, and I'm really excited to go back to Sachabacayocs area. I was there about, and I don't know if David Brugers is here, but I was there about 25 years ago. So I'm really excited to go back and see how is that, keep that richness of species that we encountered before. So we're going to be looking at very special things. And here I'm going to play something that first you're going to listen, and then you're going to tell me, what do you think we have in hands here or in our ears? Play it, please, Leanne. So that's a very popular sound from the rainforest. But I want you to tell me, what do you think it is? It could be, I'm going to say A, a jaguar calling. B, starting a motor boat, you know, the outboard motor from the boat. And C, howler monkeys. I don't know. Anybody?
You can
Can
share
write
it in the chat, or you can say it out loud, whichever one
I
you
was
want.
on howler monkeys this morning. I could be wrong though.
Howler monkeys.
Okay, you think it's a howler? Anybody said, oh, somebody thinks it's a jaguar maybe, or another animal?
I might second that on the howler monkeys. I would agree with Theo there. I think it's the howler monkeys.
Okay, good job. Well, this is the most popular monkey in the rainforest. We're gonna get it. And just want to mention, this is part of all the recordings that we're gonna get. Like this one has been recorded by the team of scientists in the 8 Primate project from the Amazon. So this is the guy that you were listening to. And this is the guy that we're gonna meet, but not only one small monkey. This is has about 8 kilograms in weight. But these guys, they can go in troops of 14 or 20 or 25 of these individuals. Most of the time, you're gonna find smaller groups. We could be 8 or 10, and they're gonna be the loudest animals in the rainforest, in the Amazonian rainforest. So this is the red howler monkey. This is we have about 6 species of these throughout Central and South America. We're going to be talking about that. But in the Tambopata area, we can find like about 8 of these species. Specifically, most of the most popular or easily to see are going to be these listed now that we're going to see in detail. Leanne, we can go to the next one. And this will be the capuchin monkey that we want to hear. So one of the things that we're going to be doing when we are in Tambopata, we're going to be walking different trails, and we're going to be listening. We're going to be listening to cicadas, very loud cicadas, probably crickets, frogs, maybe poison dart frogs during the day, birds, of course. If we're early in the morning, it's a cacophony of sounds coming all over you from the canopy, subcanopy. and then we're gonna be listening to these calls. So what I'm showing you now, or sharing with you now, is just to identify these calls, because most of the time, or some when you're in the forest, you're gonna listen to sounds, but sometimes you're not gonna see the animals. So this is one. This is another one. This is the Bolivian squirrel monkey. And we're going to learn that these monkeys have different calls. We're going to try to see if they are active, like hunting. Do you use a special recording device capture? Yes, I'm going to talk about that in a sec. We're going to be listening these guys. Sometimes they are very most likely, it's most common to see them together with the capuchin monkeys. And we're going to talk about that in the field, how they get together and they travel together in these mixed groups, right? We have squirrel monkeys and the capuchin monkeys traveling together. Then we're gonna listen. This is another guy that also and we're gonna listen in the morning, in the afternoons as well. This is a Toppin's TT monkey. Let's hear it. So this monkey is amazing. They also they get together in groups, also about 8 or 10 of these guys. They love to be in bamboo patches. You're gonna see these guys eating fresh leaves from a bamboo shoot, and they are gonna be walking together early in the morning, like 5, 6, and also in the afternoon. They like to make these calls. One of the little, or maybe the little guy that we're going to see is the Weddell saddleback tamarin, and we're going to see and hear and focus on the pitch of this little guy. So the way this guy, if you see the position on the tree trunk, it's vertical, and they're gonna, I don't know if you've seen the lemurs, how they move, like jumping from trunk to trunk. This is kind of a mini lemur, I can call. They're not gonna do big jumps, but within the trunks, they would like to jump and vertically move. This has a different totally behavior, feeding behavior. For example, they will, with their sharp teeth, they're gonna be scratching the bark of the trees to get the sap. And also they love grasshoppers. They are very insectivorous as well. Very energetic. And then we have the Azara's night monkey. This is truly the only nocturnal primate that we have. It has modified all their eyesight, and they start moving 5:30. When it's getting a little bit dark, they start moving around, and they have a den. So the family of 5 or 6 of these guys will be on a den during the daytime. Sometimes we're going to see and ask the experts, the local experts, if they know if there's a den nearby that we can go and visit. And during the day, they like to pick their head, like peekaboo out and just check you out. But in the night, they're active. We're going to listen to the call. And this is a different link that I found. This is from Wikipedia that I found. So we're just going to listen this. So very, very almost imperceptible, but we're going to be looking for those calls. I think we did all of them, the most common ones. And just to answer, why primates? No, what is their role in the forest? What are they doing? Anybody from here can tell me, what do you think the primate's role is in the forest? Maybe you can type it in. Or maybe you want to say something. Just an idea.
Is their job to eat bugs?
Yes, yes, like the little ones and the squirrel monkeys, they love bugs, so they will be controlling bugs populations, right? There's one. Okay. Anybody else? Vegetation grooms, exactly. So, for example, howler monkeys, their feeding behavior focuses on leaves. They eat most of the time leaves, some fruits and flowers as well. The titi monkeys, also that we saw the toppings, dusky titi monkeys, they also eat leaves. Seed distribution, very important. So they are called engineers or architects of the rainforest because they will be feeding on these fruits, and when they swallow the whole fruit, they will disperse then the seeds away from the mother plant, mother tree, and it's very, very important to establish trees throughout the forest. Okay, so we're about to wrap up. So these are kind of questions that I want you to think. Bioindicators of forest qualities, yes, no, what do you think? Umbrella species, umbrella, imagine opening an umbrella in the rain and how it protects. So what's the role of these guys in the forest? Are they protecting other species? What happens if they disappear, right? If the umbrella is gonna be closed? Okay, why should we care about this? And then what are the threats that are these guys getting? Can we maybe after the trip make one of these guys a flagship species? What is a flagship species? Maybe you can Google and check it out. Okay, we have a couple of more slides, and we're gonna be looking at the things that, so I've been talking about a little bit about my age. So 25 years ago, most of the transects and the census or recordings of these animals was, you can have a microphone, a hand microphone, yes, but we will have to walk many, many kilometers to encounter all these troops. Now, that's the traditional method, the census, the line transect method, but now we are using these audio mouse recordings to get thousands of calls at a time that then you can analyze with intelligence, artificial intelligence, for example. Here in the left, just to let you know, there's also recording specifically for bats that you can use in your cell phone. So you can get there are large databases in North America, Europe, South Africa, and also it's getting bigger in the neotropics, to get all these calls. The next one. So what I'm going to ask you is, please, if you can download this app. This is amazing. My friends from the 8 Primates project, they share with me because they have tried everything. They are using the audio moth, but they found that this app is awesome to record. So we're going to try to do this in the field. So please remember to download the app before we go, the Song Meter Touch Recorder, and we're going to be identifying different calls of the primates we encounter. And I think I just have one more student challenge for you guys. So I'm hoping some of you might not have a zoo near home. So if you can check it out, just run to the primates exhibit. Maybe it's been a while, maybe it's been many years since you've been at the zoo, but you can check the primates. So compare the primate species. What is an old world species? What is a new world species? Just a hint, check out the tails of these animals. Do all of them have tails? The old world and the new world? Just an idea. Get to, maybe if you download the app, maybe you can go and check the Siamans or the Gibbons. And how do they emit the call? Look at them carefully. What do they do to make that sound? And then we'll compare it with the red howler monkey in Tambopata. I will tell you all about how he produces that sound very differently. And then just to make familiar with the calls before, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun together. Thank you so much for listening to this intro to the primates of Tambopata.
Thank you so much, Gabby. And also all of you, if you all anybody have questions right now for Gabby, by all means, you can unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat box, whichever you prefer. Let's see.
You're welcome. Yes. So yeah, that's the idea. That's what we're gonna be doing. It's amazing. I'm just gonna tell a story about when I was in Venezuela, the forest fragments. We will arrive to these islands isolated by water because they have dammed all this river, the Guri River, and the hilltops of the topography of the area have left all these tips of the terrain isolated, right? So we will go into with a boat, we'll reach the islands, and then we will jump in and then explore. We knew that there were howler monkeys, but we couldn't see the howler monkeys. So I spent maybe 3 or 4 weeks the first time to get to see the first monkeys. So monkeys, they are very smart. They will look at you and maybe they are up top from our heads and we are not gonna see, but we're gonna smell them. We're gonna hear cracks. We're gonna see fruits that have been eaten from the trees. And
Gabby,
I'm gonna
we
show
have
you those field tracks.
2 questions from, so one question is, are we going to encounter jumping spiders?
Oh, there's a lot of spiders, yes. I don't think they're gonna jump into you, but yes, they're very small, they're considered quite sized spiders. There are different kinds of spiders. I'm not a specialist of spiders, but yes, there will be a really nice diversity of spiders and jump. Some of them will jump, yes.
And another question is, how long does it take for most newcomers to start recognizing different primate vocalizations?
Oh, I think we can do it in this week. That's my goal.
Oh,
That
this
we-
week.
No, in July, when
I
we
like
are
it.
when we are in such a kayak, as we start, we're gonna get them. I hope, I don't know, at least you can identify 4 of the calls when we are in the walks. I
Nice.
think in 1 week we can do it. Yes.
And then another question, what are the carnivores in Tambopata?
Okay, so the top carnivores or top predators in Tambopata are first the jaguar. If we're talking about terrestrial mammals, we have the king of the kings, it's the jaguar, right? And then we have the ocelot, like within the felids, we have the ocelot. Oh, I'm forgetting the puma. We also have the puma, which the fur coloration is a little bit different from the north of, like in North America, that is more tan color. Here it gets a little bit kind of rufous. They call it the Colorado. Colorado means, I don't know what's the best word in English, but it's kind of a blush color, right? And then we have the ocelot, and then we have a little a margay, which is a smaller kind of ocelot. And then we have the jaguarundi, which is at the size of a cat, a domestic cat, but black. So if you see a little black cat through the forest, that's a jaguarundi. And then we have wild dogs. We have 2 wild dogs and species in the area, and they are very, very difficult to see because they can hear us and smell us way before we are there. So just talking about recording new species or things like that in the area, camera traps that I'm going to show you. I'm going to be taking one of the camera traps. They are doing excellent recordings of animals that we thought they were not there. So yeah, just talking about the carnivores in the lake. I don't know if we're gonna see them here, but giant river otters are top predators in lakes ecosystems in Tambopata area.
Do we have any last questions?
One question that I want to explain instead of writing it in the chat.
Yeah.
Is that I know from experience that old world monkeys are often very like confrontational, whereas like when I visited Tambopata, the New World monkeys were sort of hiding, and you were talking about how they'll see us and they'll try and like be quiet. So what causes New World monkeys to not like confront humans as much as old world monkeys?
Okay, so we're talking about humans. Remember that we are getting into different areas. I don't know if you've been like in Venezuela, in my case, for example, they used to be hunted. So they were afraid of us. We will arrive in a boat, that sound make them flee, make them hide. Not until I habituated the troops. I habituated 20 different troops in 20 different islands, that they got used to me. Like they will know I was dropping the islands. They could check me out for weeks, and then they realized that I wasn't a threat. So they get habituated to me. But in places where they have been hunted, they will remain shy. So that's one of the things. But in other forests, I've been just sitting there, and they just come down, not down to the ground, but lower, and they feed, and they have normal behaviors. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Gabby. Thank you for your incredible presentation. Those sounds were amazing to hear, and it's interesting it gets us into that space, which is really neat. So all of you and everybody that's going to be watching this later on, by all means, please download that app. I'm excited to start using it here and just practicing with what it is. And also share your pictures on the webpage, on the forum, in Gabby's space. That would be awesome. And thank you all for coming. I know for some of you it's super early. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Cherie appreciates it. We're loving this stuff. So thank you so much, Gabby, for your expertise in primates and macrobiology.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I can wait. I can wait and see you in Tambopata.